It was a typical Monday morning and I had just arrived at school. I had spent the weekend hanging out with my friends and watching movies, so I was actually looking forward to a week of classes and homework. As I made my way to my first class, I noticed a group of boys huddled together near the entrance of the school. One of them was a tall, burly boy with a mean look on his face. I knew him by reputation. He was the school bully, and he was notorious for picking on smaller kids and causing trouble. As I walked by, I saw the bully shoving a smaller boy against the lockers. The smaller boy was cowering, tears streaming down his face. My heart raced as I watched the bully terrorize the smaller boy.
What's your problem, man? Don't you know who I am?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Shut up! I don't want to hear your excuses. You better watch your back, or you're gonna regret it.
I knew I had to do something, but I was too scared to confront the bully on my own. I stood there, frozen and helpless, until a teacher came over and broke up the confrontation. I tried to ignore the boys and keep walking, but as I passed by them, the bully grabbed me by the arm and spun me around to face him.
What are you looking at?
My heart raced as I tried to pull away. His face was only a few inches from mine. I'm not looking at anything. I'm just trying to get to class.
I don't like you. And I don't like the way you look at me. Keep that up and you're gonna regret it.
My eyes filled with tears as the bully let go of me and stormed off with his friends. I stood there, shaking and terrified. A teacher came over and asked if I was okay. I nodded silently and rushed to the class. I spent the rest of the day trying to focus on my work, but I was unable to shake the feeling of fear and vulnerability that the bully's threats had left behind. It was a typical Wednesday afternoon, and I was sitting in history class trying to focus on the lecture. I'd been feeling more and more anxious and stressed as the week went on, and I was struggling to concentrate. Suddenly, I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned around and saw the bully, a smug grin on his face. I gritted my teeth and tried to ignore him. I knew he was just trying to get a rise out of me, and I wasn't going to give him the satisfaction. But the bully wasn't giving up. He kept poking and nudging me, making faces and whispering horrible insults in my ear. My frustration and anger started to boil over, and I could feel myself starting to lose control. Finally, I snapped. I turned to face the bully. "Stop it! Just leave me alone!"
What are you gonna do about it? You can't do anything.
The bully sneered at me and shrugged. My fists clenched at my sides. I was about to lash out at the bully when the teacher called out from the front of the class.
What's going on back there? Do I need to separate you two?
The bully smirked at me, then turned to the teacher with a fake smile.
No, ma'am. We're just having a little chat.
The teacher narrowed her eyes, unconvinced.
Well, keep it down. Both of you will be staying after school for detention.
I glared at the bully, my anger and frustration still boiling inside of me. I knew I had to keep a lid on my emotions or I would end up in detention with the bully. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. After class, me and the bully were summoned to detention. We sat in silence in a small, stuffy classroom, staring at the clock as the minutes ticked by. I couldn't believe I was stuck in detention with the bully, and I couldn't wait to get out of there. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the bell rang and detention was over. I gathered my things and stormed out of the classroom, seething with anger. I knew I had to find a way to stand up to the bully and stop him from causing any more trouble. I knew that it was up to me to make it happen. Over the next few days, the bully seemed to be everywhere I went. He would follow me in the hallways, bump into me in the lunchroom, and whisper insults and threats in my ear whenever he had the chance. I felt like I was being watched and targeted at all times, and I began to dread going to school. I decided to confide in my friends, and we all agreed that something had to be done.
We can't just sit around and do nothing. We have to stand up to him and make him stop.
But how? I don't know if I'm brave enough to confront him on my own.
We could try and catch him in the act, but how on earth would we do that? We'll do it together. We'll stand up to him as a group. It'll be easier that way.
On Thursday, my friends and I were sitting at our usual table in the lunchroom when we overheard a conversation at the table next to us. It was the bully's girlfriend boasting to another guy about the bully's plan to vandalise the school.
He's gonna do it this weekend. He says it's gonna be epic.
Epic? What do you mean?
I don't know. He said he's gonna do something big and make a statement. I guess we'll find out on Saturday.
My friends and I exchanged wide-eyed glances. I couldn't believe what we had just overheard. But we didn't have any concrete evidence. Now we knew we had to do something to stop him. After lunch, we huddled together in a quiet corner of the school and discussed our options. We knew we had to catch the bully in the act, but we didn't know how.
We could tell a teacher, but I don't think they'd believe us. The bully has always been able to talk his way out of trouble. We could try and catch him in the act, but how on earth would we do that?
What if we sneak back to the school on Saturday morning, when we know he'll be here? We could hide and watch him and take pictures as evidence. It'll be like a secret mission. I knew it was a risky plan, but I also knew it was our best chance to catch the bully in the act and put an end to his bullying once and for all.
Let's do it.
And with that, we set out to catch the bully in the act and put an end to his reign of terror. We arrived at the school just as the sun was coming up. We had left our houses early before anyone else was awake, determined to catch the bully in the act. We made our way to the entrance of the school, where we knew the bully and his friends would be breaking in. We watched as the bully and his friends started spray painting graffiti on the walls and smashing windows. I took out my camera and snapped some pictures, trying to get as much evidence as possible. As the bully and his friends moved from room to room, my friends and I followed them, stealthily, trying to stay out of sight. We took more pictures and watched as the bully and his friends caused more and more destruction. Finally, when the bully and his friends were finished with their vandalism, my friends and I confronted them. We stepped out from behind the bushes and confronted both the bully and his friends. I held up the camera. "We know what you did, and we have pictures to prove it." The bully sneered at us, but I could see the fear in his eyes. He knew he'd been caught, and he knew he was going to be in some serious trouble. My friends and I stood our ground, determined to make the bully stop bullying us and everyone else. And in the end, our bravery and determination paid off. After, my friends and I presented the pictures to the principal and reported the bully's threats and vandalism. The principal was shocked and immediately suspended the bully for a week. My friends and I were hailed as heroes, and the school was grateful for our bravery in standing up to the bully. My friends and I met up at our usual spot in the park after school to celebrate our victory. We sat on a bench and munched on some snacks, still buzzing with excitement.
We did it! We really did it! I can't believe it! I never thought we'd be able to stand up to the bully like that, but we did it!
I sighed with relief. I'm just glad it's over. I don't think I could have gone through another week of being bullied and afraid.
But what if the bully comes back? And what if he starts bullying us again? We'll stand up to him again. We showed him that we're not afraid and that we won't let him push us around. We'll be ready if he tries anything.
I nodded, feeling a renewed sense of strength and courage. I knew that my friends and I had proven to not just the bully, but ourselves, that we would always have each other's backs, no matter what. From that day on, I never had to worry about the bully again. He stayed away from me and my friends and stopped causing trouble. I was able to go to school without fear or anxiety. I even gained a new sense of confidence and self-esteem, knowing that I had stood up for myself and made a difference in my school community.